had this epiphany. I thought to myself, isn't it crazy that we're parents, right? We're the adults here. We're adults. But really, what's the difference between us and our kids?
Right.
The difference between us and our kids is that we are bigger than they are. But many of us are just big kids with unresolved emotional issues who are trying to educate the next generation. Yeah. Did you work on yourself? Right. And are we working on ourselves? And when you yell at your kid, it's because I'm the parent. So 1 second. Did you also apologize to your kid when you stepped over the line a little bit? Of course, as a parent, child. Of course, a parent, of course, kibbud of aim and kibbud mora and all the halachas and the gamut. I get it. I'm not negating that.
Welcome back to the Jews Next Door, where we're all about raising the next generation of passionate and committed Jews. My name is Rabbi Yair Menshel, and as a parenting coach with my training in the Guiding Good Choices parenting methodology, as well as my experience as a passionate educator and a parent of young children, we are aiming to help parents find the practices to raise their children, which is exactly what we do in this podcast, where each and every single month we go through a different hierarchy of needs for parents to give their children the best possible experience they can and to inspire them to live a passionate religious life. And in this week's episode, we hear from someone who is extremely passionate, extremely religious, and it's amazing. We have the opportunity to hear from the famous and incredibly hilarious Rabbi Gavriel Friedman, most known as Rav Gav. Rav Gav combines his sharp wit with his amazing insights to give us some really great takes on parenting, like, for example, the needs for parents to chill out and why that's so important, how parents can stop themselves in the moment, and an incredibly deep understanding of empathy and how it applies to parenting. And I want to apologize that there's no video for this episode. The video file unfortunately became corrupt, but Baruch Hashem, we have great audio. And without further ado, enjoy the episode. A major thank you to Rav Gav.
You're welcome.
Just came from Israel. We are in a serious rush because Rav Gav is going to speak at a school, inspire many children. So I want to dive right in. From your vantage point, you see a lot of post-high schoolers. From your vantage point, if you could change one thing in the Jewish education system. We're diving right in. What would it be?
Whoa. Holy moly. Okay, perhaps to take away from future questions, I don't know where this is going. I just want to first start off I want to thank all my family and friends for being here. What I just want to first start with is, I personally believe the most important thing is the house. It's not when you say the Jewish education system. So I'm assuming you mean the schooling system.
Yeah.
And that whole battle, which you're like, it's the school's problem, it's the home problem, the back and forth.
Yeah.
I think that both are to give credit to, for better or worse.
Okay,
right?
I got you.
But I do think that the home is much more crucial than the school.
Great. So being that this is a parenting podcast, let's dive right into that. What does that mean?
But I do want to take you back into the school for a second.
We'll go back to the school and then we'll go to the home.
I will tell you something with the school, which also applies to parents. It's very difficult. I had a humbling experience recently where I judged someone wrong. I judged somebody wrong. It was a very, very uncomfortable. Like super uncomfortable. And after they put me in my place and they showed me how to judge them wrong.
Oh boy.
And it was a real eye-opener. It was a continued eye-opener. I've had experiences in my past where I've experienced something, I thought something was some way, it's a different way, etc.
Sure.
But I just want to share with you one idea that my brother said to me, amazing idea. Aish Friedman is his name, Aish. Anyway, he's a therapist, social worker, something or other. A lot of letters. I don't know what they mean, but there's a bunch of letters there. And he said something really, really nice once, really profound, about chutzpah. And I think this is so important for parents and for teachers, for faculty, for school, for principals. I spent a lot of time with principals. I give them a lot of run for their money. I'm talking when I was a kid. I had my own little chair in the office.
You're a set spot there. Welcome, cool.
Yeah. There's an Ari Miklat before. I always missed it. But anyway, what's chutzpah? So a kid comes in, they're behaving a certain way, chutzpah. And that's what the from will say. Say, disrespectful, how dare you, whatever it is, when the kid's behaving a certain way. So I don't remember yet. Hopefully it's going to pop out as I say. I think there are 4 things you have to find out when a kid behaves a certain way. Number 1, are they tired? Number 2, are they scared? Number 3, are they hungry? And maybe number 4 is, are they thirsty? I don't remember exactly, but let's just go for those big ones. Those are biggies right there, right? You know yourself. When you're tired, you're not yourself.
Yeah.
And when you're hungry, you're not yourself. When you're scared, you're not yourself. And
Very true.
when you're lacking certain basic
Right, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that you need to have certain basics taken care of in order for you to be able to go to the next.
That's right.
The next
yeah,
step. Right?
Absolutely. Which question of whether we go with that anymore. But the point is that you're up to date with it. But the point is that there's a certain baseline we need to get to.
Right.
I need to feel safe. I need to not be starving and not be scared and be tired. I've heard stories about that. I'm sure someone who listens to this, if anyone listens to this, not because you, because of me, next skip. But maybe we'll be able to fill in the blank with who it was. But I've heard stories about principals or teachers, or about in particular principals, that have in their office a fridge with milk and a bowl and cereal and bowl and whatever. And when the kid comes in, gets sent in because they're whatever, they say, first thing is, are you hungry? And the kid says, yeah, it has cereal. Says, so what happened today? And it's a different game. It's a remote game. Besides chemical imbalances, I'm not talking about, I'm saying based off having low sugar, high sugar, just because you didn't eat anything, whatever, it changes your psyche.
Yeah, totally.
So as an educator, as a teacher, you really have to ask yourself a question. And as a parent also, it's the same.
Yeah, if a kid's ever throwing a tantrum, sometimes they just need a snack. And then they'll be so different. And that's just what
absolutely.
It is.
They need a hug.
Yeah.
They're feeling sad. They're feeling whatever it is. There's such a quick, keep the control. I have to ask yourself as a parent and as a teacher, what is your goal? What's your objective? What are you trying to accomplish? I'm trying to accomplish that they should know this math for the rest of their life. Serious? That's really what you're trying to accomplish over here?
Right.
Come on. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to remember Sokotoa. Dare I say that? I'm not going to say that. It's like an Indian thing. I don't know what to say anymore. But the point is they're not going to remember, quadratic equation. I'm not saying none of it's important to learn or whatever, but I'm saying could you be like a human for a second? Just be a human. One of my kids just had an interaction with one of their teachers. With timing, I can't go into the whole thing, but I would love to, but I'm not going to go into it now. But basically, she had to hand this report. The teacher is incredibly critical and really nuts about something. So when my kid handed in this report, whatever it was, I remember what it was, but I don't want to, it's not less than her thing. When this particular kid gave it to this particular teacher, this particular report, and the teacher was like, "You're missing this, that, blah, blah." Yeah. So my kid asked, is in Israel, so everything's in Hebrew, but she says, I don't even know how to say it in English, Hamora, it's can I speak to you not as a teacher and as a person?
Oh wow.
And the teacher was very thrown off, Yeah.
That's
error. Because you walk into school,
don't know how to communicate.
It's ready. You walk in, hey, how are you? What's going on? Teacher from school. It's and she's like, listen, I think you're being a little bit hard on it. It was a totally different whatever.
Wow.
Just chill. Everybody just chill. I know of a teacher that was proud that they gave kids failing grades. They're proud of it. Wow. What the heck is wrong with you? What are you doing? Why are you in education? Yeah. Now, similar, it's the same base in terms of parenting also. I got a phone call from a mother from somewhere in the world. Mm-hmm. And this is how it went. I don't know who this person is. I've never been to this place before.
You had no idea. Just a random call.
Nothing.
How did they get your number?
No shyness. I don't know, but they found it. Whatever. I actually do know how, but I think for a second. But I have no idea who they are. I don't know anything. I'm having a challenge with my son, my teenage son, etc. So I said, okay, how can I help you? And she starts describing the situation. I said, you mind if I ask you, a personal question, a bit personal? How's your relationship with your son, and how's your husband's relationship with your son? And when it got to the husband relationship, she said, it's getting, I think, my husband says it's getting better.
Right. Yeah.
So when the husband says it's getting better, that means that you don't think it's getting better, but in his head, it's getting better. So I had this epiphany. I thought to myself, isn't it crazy that we're parents, right? We're the adults here. We're adults. But really, what's the difference between us and our kids?
Right.
The difference between us and our kids is that we are bigger than they are. But many of us are just big kids with unresolved emotional issues who are trying to educate the next generation. Yeah. Did you work on yourself? Right. And are we working on ourselves? And when you yell at your kid, it's because I'm the parent. So 1 second. Did you also apologize to your kid when you stepped over the line a little bit? Of course, as a parent, child, of course, the parent, of course, kibbud of aim and kibbud mora and all the halachas and the gemara. I get it. I'm not negating that. But also be a ben adam, I'm saying, what is it? So
you're saying parenting, in the ideal form, people would work out their things before they become parents. And once they are parents, you gotta work on
Listen,
that.
The Gra speaks, I didn't see this inside, and it's hard to find a lot of writings of the Gra, but I heard quoted I hope I quote it right, that the Gru's method of education was similar to, did you ever when you were a kid do this thing where you took a cup and you filled it up and then you tilted it a little, so you filled it all the way and then it poured out and you held another cup here, someone else here, someone else here, someone else here, so the water goes that.
Sure,
You've done that before? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Often you do that? You want to talk about that?
Like a couple of times.
Last week? Anyway, it's like kiddish.
It's funny, actually, right over there.
I love that cup. So the Gra says that's education. Education is you fill your cup so much that you start to pour out. Now, dare I add to the Gra, I don't know what the Gra's context was. I didn't see it inside. But the way I heard it was very nice, right? I'm only thinking as I'm speaking right now because the mashal plays out. Your cup is filled constantly. It's being filled. The question is, what is it being filled with?
Wow.
So you're pouring over. And you're pouring over things into your kids' cups. The question is, what are you pouring over? And don't be surprised. This is the biggest line. This is why I'm saying, if I could make Pirkei Avos, I tried out, but it was a couple thousand years late. But if I can make it, I my students that have heard me say this have heard me say this. And that's the following. This is one of the lines I use on parents like so often. And it's biting for me, because I'm also a parent, thank God. A parent called me up one time and said, I don't know what to do. My son, he doesn't go to shul. Like he doesn't daven. He doesn't go to shul. Okay, after a little investigation, wasn't that difficult, found out that this person also didn't go to shul. Like, oh my, are you serious? Your son is doing what you're doing? I am shocked, right? Now, we're always, this kid's going to do either a little more than our parents or a little less than our parents. It's not like you don't do exactly the same, right? But when we're younger, it's usually we're following along, we'll do it, but a little less. So this guy went to shul on Shabbos. And he went to the early minyan, and this kid would go to shul on Shabbos to the late minyan, late. Right. You go late to late minyan. And what I wanted to say, but I couldn't because of the circumstance. But here's the line: Don't hu haya omer. Yeah, hu haya omer. That's my Pirkei Avos. Hu haya omer. Don't be surprised if your children turn out the way you raise them. Wow. Shocking. You raise them a certain way. What do you expect them to be? That's how you raise them.
Whatever you're doing, whatever your expectation is, like that's what it's going to be.
No, it's not true. It's a school. Is it the school? I'm sure the school also messed them up.
Right.
But don't take away your own way of messing them up. So like, what's the most important thing? Check yourself before you wreck your kid. That's essentially what's happening over here. So how many of us are actively, and I just spoke about this yesterday in Israel, to my students, I was talking about the concept of, so you guys are learning a lot of Gemara. That's really good and whatever. What slot of the day do you have of what practical steps I could take to work on my jealousy? And what techniques are you using to be able to control your anger?
Right.
Where is it like creating people?
Right.
Becoming a person.
You're saying like parents should take a step back and be like, at what point am I saying like, okay, here's how I'm actually like working on this to be a better parent, or not? It could be parenting, it could be working on being a better Jew so that my children will see that, being a better person, whatever it is. So what would you say are the steps to give that over the best way to their children? Meaning you're saying it's really just basically modeling, and it's about what you're modeling.
Wow. I mean, in my head, I'm back on the point we said earlier with like, the four things of chutzpah or whatever. Is that just, okay. So, I mean, we're kind of all over the place. So you edit whatever you want or don't. I don't care. But I'll just say like this. Number one, you got to show tisasmecha v'achar show tisachem, right? That's the Gemara says. That literally means to like adorn yourself and then adorn someone else. Fix yourself is literally the words. But let's go with the simple understanding. Fix yourself, then fix others. Right? And let's say, lo hamedrash u'ikar la ma'isa. So Mishnah 117. Rabbi Yonah there says the words of those who follow that what they do are better than those who don't. Right? Just yafeh or na'eh or something like that. More pleasant, more accepted. So are we really living up? Because we have to work on ourselves. And then the flip of that is, let me tell you a pshat. Listen, pshat. So I think it's such a beautiful pshat.
Yeah, it's here.
The Gemara in Sanhedrin Daf Yud Ches, I think, that says that lashon kshot es atzmecha ve'achar kach kshot es acherim. Fix yourself, then fix others. And everybody says that. Like, you give me something bad. I'm like, how do you do? Fix you. You know what I'm saying? I'm the problem. You're the problem. Right. It's like the, switcheroo on people. But anyway, here's the idea. The word kshot esatzmecha are understood to mean fix, but the word kshot, like a kshita, means an adornment, to adorn yourself. So I think this to be such an amazing concept. You ever had an interaction with somebody where they do something wrong, and you can't even think of one reason why it was okay what they just did. You're like, how awful.
Can't even fathom.
What are you thinking?
Right.
Okay, now let's think about you. Did you ever do something wrong? And someone comes and accuses you, and you come up with a million reasons why what you just said was okay. Sure. So why by you can you come up with a million reasons, but by someone else, you can't even come up with one? It's like, no, it's this, it's that. You don't know, you don't understand, but other things. Yeah. Someone else is like, that's crazy.
So what's the reason?
You hear?
Yeah.
What's kshot atzmacha means like this. Okay, so this is what we should do. The reason why we can come up with a million for us is because we love us. And we don't want to look bad, and no one wants to look bad. The other person, it's not that we don't love them, and we love them less.
Right.
Kamocha, right? So what's kamocha? So it means like this. The next time you see someone behave a certain way, which you can't understand what they're doing, try to, I don't mean to kill someone, let's relax people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like everyone goes to the extreme, you know?
Right.
Maybe it's just me and no one else does, but because you look not like that. But anyway, next time we see someone do something, which I don't understand how he could do that. How could he cut the person in line? How could he, drive into my lane without putting the blinker on, which is a big one for me. I can't stand people like that. Special place for them. Special place. Special hot place. Being very clear. Stop for a moment. Put yourself in their place.
Empathy. Or more than that. Walk them out in their shoes, or like not even saying that.
I'm not. Listen, put yourself in their place. Try to get in the mindset that you just did that. If you get in the mindset you just did that, now come up with a million reasons why it was okay.
Wow.
Take one of those reasons. Kshot es atzmecha. Adorn yourself.
Adorn yourself for that
Come back to
reason.
yourself and now kshot es lechem and give to them exactly what you would have given to yourself.
Wow. That's a yesod. That's a really
Isn't that huge?
Wow.
So I think that's also in terms of parenting, in terms of education. It's all the same yesod here. I would imagine no teacher would openly say, most teachers wouldn't openly say, my goal is to get in, get out, and hopefully make them suffer. There are teachers like that, but most are not like that. Of course I want my kids to succeed. I'm proud that they got a 0, and then we'll come with some cockamamie reasons why it was okay. You out of your mind, you're proud you gave them a 0. What's wrong with you? Why are you in education? You want them to succeed because I will make them succeed. Right? Okay, fine. So you want them to succeed. So let's try to think, what are they going through? What's happening?
So how do people stop themselves in the moment? Like the moment, in that moment is so very hard to do that. How do you? Yeah.
It's like anything in life. Hachana is key. You can't stop yourself in the moment. Mitzias,
so
done.
What's that hachana look like? What's that
Okay,
preparation?
so first of all, let's just.
If you're looking for a great way to have some good, clean, kosher fun with your children through the powerful effect of music, look no further because J Karaoke is here. J Karaoke gives one and all the platform to belt out their favorite tunes from a library of thousands of Jewish songs, hundreds of artists and genres across multiple decades of incredible Jewish music. Personally, I know that I love singing, I love it. I love karaoke, but I was really never able to get into it because it wasn't the Jewish songs. And that's where J Karaoke comes in with their huge selection. From the latest hits to the classics, they even have nursery rhymes for your little ones. And with features like key changes to help you sing, to make you more comfortable as you're singing, and speeding it up or slowing down the song, they have really thought of everything. To enjoy Jewish karaoke your way, all you need to do is head to jkaraoke.com. Choose a subscription that fits for you. And to make it even more fun, you could purchase their state-of-art karaoke kit, which gives you the feeling as if you are today's top singer. You can insert whoever you feel it is. Connect your kit to any device, like it could be a laptop, a computer, a tablet, whatever it is, and you plug in your speaker, plug in your J Karaoke microphone, and you sing away. It's as easy as that. That's all it is, and it's really fun. I checked out their website. It really looks amazing. They have an incredible amount of song selection. Anything you want. They got Thank You Hashem. They got Mordechai Shapiro. They really got it all. You can subscribe monthly for just $4.99 a month, yearly for $49.99, and we have a special deal here for you. For any of our listeners, if you use the code Jews Next Door, DOR, you get an additional 10% off. And if you don't want your children to be using a device with internet, J Karaoke's got you covered. You can download the app onto your desktop. Once you have it up, turn off the internet, let them sing all day long without the internet. Check out J Karaoke today and let the fun begin.
Be real with you. I do not want you to be choshid me for a second that I follow what I'm saying.
I got you.
Chalila.
I know that you do, but okay.
Chalila, you know? My chavrusa said to me once, Shimi says to me, if you followed 5% or 10% of what you taught, you'd be at tzaddik yesod olam. You know, so I'm like, okay, but what am I speaking about?
It's like funny. Is that like a compliment or like another? Because it's like, on one hand, you teach a lot. On the other hand, it's like...
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. But when I am aware, what am I speaking about this concept? It's because I personally think that it's important, and I'm trying to do it. I may not be there yet, and I may be very far from it, but at least it's on my mind.
Yeah, sure.
And hopefully I'll get there.
So what would you say practically? I mean, like you were saying before, like how much time does a person set aside to say, I'm practically working on this? So what is a way that person can practically work on this, or practically, like you said, the hachana, the preparation for this?
Well, if you're talking about a teacher, right? If you're talking about a teacher, so before you walk in the classroom, I have a thing that I do that there's a Rabbi Naish, his name is Rabbi Cohen, Yisrael Cohen. He said this to me a long time ago. He said, I give you a bracha that Hashem should put the right thoughts in your mind, the right words in your mouth.
Nice.
And he said it a little bit differently, but that's the way I remembered it. And if you watch me before I go teach, every time before I get up in front of a crowd, not in like a regular class, which I'm used to, which I should, but I say, basically, Hashem Sefasai Tiftach, but I say Hashem put the right thoughts always in my mouth, and I say it out loud, not loud to the people. Can anybody say it, you know?
Is that right?
Before we walked into the class and we would stop just for a moment, it's like, okay, I'm about to walk in. There are going to be kids that are going to behave a certain way. And you already know that. You're a teacher. You know that there's going to be something. It's not going to be a day you walk in and the kids are like, teacher, have you arrived? Let's begin. And they're English. What are you doing? You're in the wrong country. Right? But before you walked in, you said, okay, game time. Like, I'm going in. There's going to be stuff happening. Let me just chill before I respond. That's a game changer.
Yeah. Same thing with parents when they get home.
So I was going to say, parents, well, that's also in terms of marriage.
Or in the way they wake up, whatever it is. I'm saying like before anything.
Right, the Shalom Bayis apple, you've heard of before, I'm assuming.
What's the Shalom Bayis apple? It's here.
The Shalom Bayis apple is like when you come home after work, so you come into the house and you want to eat something right away. So you're agitated and whatever. So the Shalom Bayis apple or steak or whatever you have in your car.
Apple, I don't know.
The Shalom Bayis Big Mac, Big Moshi. Anyway, the Shalom Bayis burger brought to you by. You have in the car, so you eat something in order to just level out your sugar, like chill. You know what I'm saying? So you walk in, you have to I needed something. You know what the Gemara says?
You're not hangry, right? That's
hangry. I want for all the single ladies and all the married ladies, all the ladies out there. I want to explain something. The Gemara says that a man that doesn't eat food has two hearts. He can't function.
Right.
You need to bring it back to being a normal human. So you walk I need your help. All you're doing is you're going to eat dinner? Like, what about the kids? They're running all that. Answer is like, yeah, I'm going to eat dinner. Right. Like, sorry. And then it turns into something as opposed to just like, so they say to the man, okay, bring something food, but practically you're not going to. So then, lady, you know what I'm saying? Let me eat something. And I'm not saying like, this is what it is. It's my fine. I am, lacking. I need my medicine, and that's the medicine. It's food. I'm saying, which really is food. But anyway, that's preparation is everything. Prep is all. Prep is everything. Yeah. I have a whole other class about this called Life is a Piece of Pie. Life is a piece of pie. P-I-E is prep is everything.
I'd love to hear that.
Okay. But you heard the words?
Pie.
Prep is everything. Preparation is everything in life. The way you're going to succeed, the way you're going to do anything you get involved with, if you prepare, you'll be fine. You don't prepare, you may win.
That's like that old Chinese proverb, right? If you prepare to fail, you're failing to prepare. No. I say that wrong.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail.
I think that was the great late Benjamin Franklin.
Yes, that guy.
The Chinese man. I heard it from him. I mean, I didn't hear it from him, but it was on a Snapple cap or something like that. It's got to be true. So that's it. I'm saying the first thing is like, obviously we have to be working on ourselves and understand that a lot of the times called a postil b'muma kapasel, right? When we're seeing the negative of something that's coming from us, and it'd be slow, take it easy, relax, don't take it so personal. This is their issue, their struggle. Allow them to struggle. Allow them to have challenges. Allow the person to have a struggle. Don't forget, if you're dealing with kids, they're developing.
Right.
They're developing. And now what? Like, the goal of a parent from different ages and stages, but when they're very, very young, is to not let them die. That's the goal, right? Don't let them hurt themselves or whatever it is. But it's also to create them to be a human. This is why Chaim Vital wrote about why is it there's no mitzvos, or if there are, it's a machlokas rishonim, but most, overwhelming majority of the Torah has nothing to do with character development. There's no mitzvahs in character development. Now I say none, but there are some.
Because it's the prerequisite.
That's right. Because it's a pregame show. The goal is to be able to be Makabel Torah.
Right.
To be Makabel Torah, you need to make yourself into a kli. The kid is just a bunch of random material. The goal from ages 0 to 13 or 12 for a girl, there's no mitzvahs. They're not chayiv in one mitzvah. Did you bench? Did you wash negavas? Did you go, could you just chill out, everyone? They're not chayiv. There's no chayiv. The boy can be 12
years.
You
think parents need to chill out a little bit more when they're...
I think that there has to be a certain...
Like a balance.
Of course there's avanira. I mean, I'm not saying that, but let there be some ava also.
But you're saying like sometimes parents push it a little too hard, you're saying? Or hold to too high standards?
I think there's a certain standard is a good way of saying it. And I think a lot of times maybe a parent, and I can see this in myself, a parent wants to live vicariously through their children and their failed goals. I wasn't able to do this. Now I want you to do it. And when you're not doing it, then I get upset. Like, what are you getting upset? The fact that they're not doing it. You didn't do it either. But I want them to do what I didn't do. Well, so go do it when you didn't do it. Like, what do you want from them? You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot more to talk about this Inyan, but about this topic. But ultimately, it's about really working working on ourselves as individuals. The more we work on ourselves as individuals, the more we grow, then that itself will pour over. We're pouring, we're spilling all over the place. The question is, what are you spilling? And those that are full of love and full of care and full of growth, that doesn't mean there's no yira, it doesn't mean there's no room for that, but I don't need to talk about that because that part's there. I don't need to discuss that. You know, they say like, this generation, it's all about just love. In my generation, it was just yira. Right. And that's why we only love. What do you think it was good?
We're making up for everything that we didn't have.
It was successful. And, you see the people like, yeah, and everyone kept Shabbos. Yeah, until they got out of your house. Right. You know, what do you want? And even if they kept doing it, they were happy. It was Rachmana Liba Boy. Hashem wants us to be connected. It's not just a matter of just like, you did it, now you're good. There's so much more. Anyway, my head's spinning. There's a lot to talk about here.
A lot to talk about. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah,
so,
your time or of others people's.
So thank you so much for the time, and hopefully we'll be able to continue the conversation. Thank you so much.
Until next time, you know how we close. Keep educating. Do you have a line like that? No? Education is power.
Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another amazing special guest episode with Rav Gav. Rav Gav's idea of empathy, like we just can't understand it. How could they possibly do what they just did? When we see our children and we wanted to say, what were you thinking or why did you do that? And we have to first get into the mindset as if we just did that. When we go through something, we immediately are able to come up with a million reasons why it was okay, right? So he gave the idea, he was giving an understanding of the concept of kishot et atzmacha, to adorn ourselves with that, meaning put that reason back in, understand as if we just did that, and then come back and understand that that's why your child just did that. It has so many practical takeaways for us. It's often hard for us to deal with challenging children when our child is sometimes really pushing our buttons and making it so hard. So it's hard, and it makes us feel like we're failing our job as parents. But then imagine if the situation is flipped. Imagine that you were the one who did the wrong. You would be able to find so many explanations for yourself. So we should at least do that for our children too. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha means that we should love our fellow like ourselves. That should also apply to our children. Right? So if we love ourselves the way that we would be able to come up with many, many different reasons for what we did and why we did it, then we should be able to do that for our children as well. So let's try over the course of this week. Try at least once. Find for your child, really, the reason that they did what they did based off of how you would justify it for yourself. And then approach your child differently. It will make a huge impact if you approach your child based off separating the action from the child and realizing and recognizing that your child is not a bad child. There is no such thing as a bad child. No child wants to be bad. Understand that. No child wants to be bad. So find the reasons for your child, and it will greatly enhance your relationship, which is what we are all about here at Gen Aleph. It's all about the bonding. If you bond with your child in the right way, which is what we teach in our 5-week course, if you bond with your child in the right way, you will prevent your child from rates of attrition, from drugs, and so many other things, substance abuse, all these different things. So really think about it, and I hope that you were able to gain as much as I did from this amazing episode, and I'd love to hear what you gained. Please reach out on genaleph.org. It would be amazing to hear from you. Email at us. You can email me, yair@genaleph.org, or hi@genaleph.org, or you can call into our hotline at 833-737-1293. And you can ask any parenting question you have, leave your name, your number, and email address, and don't worry, we'll be making sure to make it anonymous. And you should definitely check out our OU Parenting Podcast on Instagram at Parenting the Jews Next Door, on YouTube at Parenting the Jews Next Door, and you can follow me on Twitter at YairManshel for parenting tips, quotes, and funny and relevant content. Looking forward to continuing next week with another special guest episode. We have another one coming your way next week. It's going to be incredible. You will see what we got coming for you next week. I can't wait to share it with you all. Have a great week.